In this video, we're gonna see how to implement a reCAPTCHA in your website using Python. You consider I have started this Flask server. You can also take the Django server as well, and we are collecting the name as well as email from the user. You consider after we enter the name and email, it is asking us to solve this CAPTCHA test. That is, I'm not a robot. Only after we solve this, you can able to submit. You consider after we submit, we will get a successful message. But if you fail to submit, so we consider I have entered the name and email, but this time I am not solving this CAPTCHA test. And if I click submit button now, you consider I get a error message like CAPTCHA failed. Please try again. So let us see how to implement this CAPTCHA test in your website using Python, especially during those form submission. So let's get started. As I mentioned, I have this sample Flask code here that we are just collecting the name and email and printing the name and email to the next page. And this is the HTML code for that. You can also implement the same thing using the Django server as well. If you know the Django, you can implement this using the Django server. So this is the HTML code. I have used the two placeholders, one for the name and one for the email. And I have the CSS file as well. So let me start this Flask server now to give you the demo first. You consider now the Flask server has been started. Let me open this. So let's enter the name and email. You consider we are asking the name and email without using the CAPTCHA first. So for the demo, let me enter the name as well as email. Here you can see we are not having the CAPTCHA test. When we click on submit button, you consider hello, it will print the name as well as the email. So let us see how to implement the CAPTCHA below the email and above the submit button. So let's get started. So let me close this and let's open up a new tab now. And before that, let's start this Flask server. Let me stop the Flask server and just open a new tab and just type Google reCAPTCHA create key. Just type this and click on the first result, create reCAPTCHA keys for website. Let me open this website, and if you scroll down, you can see that go to reCAPTCHA admin console. I will also provide the link in the description. You can check that. So just head over to this website, reCAPTCHA admin console. Here you can see here we need to register for our website. In this case, just give a name for our site. For example, CAPTCHA tutorial using Python. And below that, we have to select the CAPTCHA type. There are multiple types, that is the V3 and V2. So based on the your needs, select the appropriate one. So let me show you the what are the difference between these two versions. So if you select the challenge, you consider I am not a robot checkbox. So let me show you what this means. So consider I have opened this image here. In the image, you can clearly see, consider you will get a CAPTCHA box like this, confirming I am not a robot. This is the first option. The second option is you will get this uh, message like protected by reCAPTCHA. This is the second option. The third option is the scroll base. But in this video, we're going to focus on the I'm not a robot checkbox. Here in this image, you can see the difference between the reCAPTCHA V3 and V2. You can see that in the reCAPTCHA V2, we will get a pop-up like, please confirm we are not a robot. I'm not a robot. And it is explicitly asking the user to confirm we are not robot. But when you're using the reCAPTCHA V3, it does not provide any visible challenges or checkbox. It is working behind the scenes. It tracks how you move the cursors. If you are using the bot, the cursor will be moving automatically, right? So it tracks your behavior, then only it will provide you to the next page. But we're gonna implement this V2 now. I'm not a robot, so check that. And in this case, we are running locally. So for the domain, just give localhost. If you deploy your website, so make sure you leave your domain name here. That is, if you deploy it to a Python anywhere, make sure you leave a Python anywhere URL here. And let's also enter the 127.0.0.1. So this is also localhost. So make sure you add these two URLs. And after that, select your Google Cloud project. So let me click on this my first project and click on submit button. It will give you two keys. The first one is the site key and the second one is the secret key. We need both the keys. So let me copy both the keys, and at the top we consider we can have 10,000 access per month without any charges. So let me copy the site key and let's go to Visual Studio. So site key equal to, let's save this now. Site key equal to, this will be our site key, and let's also do the for the secret key as well. So secret key, let me copy the secret key now. So let's copy this and paste it here. Now we have the site key as well as the secret key. We need to pass the site key to our HTML page. Here you can see we are rendering the HTML page here. We have to pass the site key to the HTML page now. So first let me run this now. So if you run the Python script, let me open this URL. You can see that now we don't have the checkbox here, right? That's why we need to pass the site key to that index.html file. So let's first do that now. So site key equal to this will be our site key variable. Now we are passing the site key to our HTML file, right? So let's try to render that now. Here we need to add one script tag now. So let's also change the secure form to CAPTCHA form. This is a CAPTCHA tutorial, right? Here below the email and above the submit, we're gonna add the CAPTCHA. But before that, we have to add a script tag now. Just like how you add a script tag when implementing the Bootstrap, we also need to implement the CAPTCHA script tag as well. So just open a new tab and type CAPTCHA documentation. So select this reCAPTCHA v2. Here if you scroll down, you can see that here you have a script tag. So we need to copy this. So this is for the reCAPTCHA checkbox. If you are using the consider we have selected the checkbox. If you are using the invisible mode, that is protected reCAPTCHA page, I think the script tab is same for the both the v2 version. So let me copy the script tag and we have to paste it at the head tag now. We consider this the script tag. And below this, you consider here we have to add the CAPTCHA widget. So we're gonna add above the submit button but below the email address. So make sure you include the CAPTCHA widget at the bottom of the form. So I'm gonna implement this above the submit button. So you have to leave a div tag. So the div tag should contain the class name. So class equal to, so the class name should be this G, that is stand for bool, G hyphen reCAPTCHA. This the make sure you give the class name as same as this and data hyphen side key. So data hyphen side key, this will be our side key. You consider we are passing the side key from this main.py file, right? This is what we are receiving in the index.html file. So make sure you type the underscore as well. So you consider we have added this div tag here. So make sure you add that. So let's try to refresh now. You consider now we got the I'm not a robot reCAPTCHA test. But currently we are not checking. Consider I have completed I'm not a robot. But even though if you not complete this, when you click on submit button, it will go to the page that user. You are not checking if the user has completed the CAPTCHA test or not. You consider when we click on the email and submit, you consider it goes through directly. But you consider I have not checked the I'm not a robot, right? So we have to check if the user has completed this CAPTCHA test or not in the backend. So let's try to do that now. So now we have completed the word.index.html file. Let me close that. So we are interested in the main.py file. So we need a library called the request. So let's import the library. So you consider we are getting the name and email from the form. Let's also get the CAPTCHA response. So CAPTCHA response equal to request.form.get. I think this is request.form.get. Request.form.get. We are getting the Google reCAPTCHA response. So consider this will give us the reCAPTCHA response. I think this is not Google. This is simply G. So G reCAPTCHA response. Now we got the reCAPTCHA response, right? Then we have to verify our reCAPTCHA. So let me come on now. So reCAPTCHA verification starts below. So let's define a dictionary now. So data equal to this will be a dictionary that contains the secret key as well as the reCAPTCHA response. So secret equal to this will be our secret key. So using the secret key, we're gonna verify our reCAPTCHA response, and for the response, this will be our reCAPTCHA response. So now we have the data dictionary that contains the secret key as well as the response. What we can do is we can give request the reCAPTCHA website. So r equal to request dot post. So we can use the post request. So just in the post request to the URL that I am typing. https www.google.com/reCAPTCHA /API /site verify. So we have to send the post request to this website along with the data. So data equal to this will be our data. So inside this data we are having the secret key as well as our response. You consider we have to give a post request to this website. I will also provide the link in the description. You can just copy and paste, or I will give you the source code in the GitHub. You can check that. So consider we are giving the post request to the site verify. Now we got the result, right? We can convert it into a JSON. So result equal to r.json. So if the result is success, then only we can return the success page. That is hello. We are displaying the name and email welcome page. So if the result is success only, we're gonna return this page. So let me indent this. But if the result is not success, that is, if the user is not completed the reCAPTCHA test, then what we can do is we can print a error message like CAPTCHA failed, try again. I think we have completed the backend as well. So let me refresh now. So let me refresh this page. So let's enter the name as well as the email and click on this, and I'm gonna click on submit button. You consider now you successfully go to the success page, but but if we don't click on this CAPTCHA test, so let me enter the name as well as the email now.
CAPTCHA
Let
form.
me enter these both the things. This time I'm not confirm, I'm not a robot. Consider we get a error message like CAPTCHA failed, try again. You consider this is how you implement a reCAPTCHA in a website using Python. I just give you a demonstration of how you can implement a sample CAPTCHA. So if you want a detailed explanation, just go to the CAPTCHA documentation. You consider if you click on this website, we are using only one option, that is the checkbox. But there are lots of options available there. reCAPTCHA V3 consider using they give you a detailed code here. Consider they also give you all the codes here. So feel free to explore how you can implement multiple options. In this way, we have only tried the checkbox. So if you want to try the other option, so make sure you feel free to explore. I will also provide the documentation link in the description. You can check it out. So this is for this video, and I will continue in the next one. You consider when we click on this, it will go. But when we don't click on the capture form, we will get the error message. So that's it.